Welcome, nerds, to Lonely Havocs Havocast, podcast number 3. In this podcast, I talk about tabletop wargames, RPGs, and other nonsense, and my favorite thing about the hobby, the people that play games. Today's podcast, I am going to discuss how to deal with difficult players. There's a lot of those out there. You might find them sitting at your table for an RPG, or you might be sitting across the table from them playing some plastic spacemen. I'm also going to have an awesome discussion with Sonic Sledgehammer. And then to round things off, I'm going to tell you all about my Star Wars Edge of the Empire campaign and give you a quick rundown and update of what's going on there because I'm very excited about it. Please sit back, enjoy yourself. I record it without pants, so you should listen to it without pants. Havocast number 3. Oh boy, so let's talk about difficult players. With any process where human beings are involved, you're going to run into personality conflicts and sometimes people that you just don't get along with, and that's okay. These things happen. But how do you deal with people? So my thing is time. One of our most finite resources. We're not really getting any more of it. You can't create any more of it. So when I'm spending my time doing something that I want to enjoy, I would like to do it with people I enjoy and like-minded folks as well. I think some differences in habits and beliefs is fantastic because you learn new things, you get different perspectives, but on the other hand, if someone is just being a pain in the ass, I don't want to spend my time playing with them. And I think that's totally fine as well. It's your time. Do what you want with it. Spend it with people that make that time enjoyable. So what are some tactics, some things that you can use when you have a difficult player sitting at your table or sitting across from you? Caveat, I am going to talk about confrontation, which I know is difficult for some. And I got to tell you, I don't like confrontation either. But being raised by a very strong military father and then serving in the military for 21 years, I learned that confrontation is just a matter of course, and sometimes you just have to do it. I know a lot of you will say, oh, there's no way I can do it. I can't confront people. But I'm going to urge you to reconsider because this is your time to enjoy yourself and to have fun. And we need to be direct with each other every once in a while so everyone knows where they stand. Case in point, a couple of years ago, I was playing a large apocalypse game, which is a very, very large Warhammer 40,000 game. And there was a gentleman that I play with fairly often, freaking out about the rules. And he starts yelling. He's yelling about the rules. And something we did wasn't right according to his tactic card or some such thing. And he's literally yelling and freaking out. And I got mad. I don't deal with people yelling at me very well. So I stopped him and I said, look, man, I'm an adult. I'm a grown-ass man. I was like, do not yell at me. Simple as that. He stopped, took stock of what he was doing, and apologized. He said, I'm sorry. I just get excited, and, I didn't mean to yell. I said, that's fine. And then we moved on. So there's a couple of elements to that process. Step 1, be direct and use a simple statement of what it is that's bothering you. The goal here is a statement so simple and direct that it cannot be misinterpreted, which I know is difficult for some of you. Some people have a tendency to beat around the bush or to try to drop subtle hints or hope that the other person just understands how they feel. People just don't. A lot of people don't get hints. A lot of people don't read body language very well. You just have to say what it is you're feeling. I know this is awkward. It's awkward for everyone, but nothing is more awkward than playing a shitty game against someone that's being shitty to you and feeling like you're trapped there. Don't do that. This is your time to enjoy yourself, to do something that you love. Don't let it be a negative experience. Stand up for yourself. Simple, direct statements. I don't like the way you're talking to me. I don't like that you are second-guessing every rule and making me feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Simple. Again, the object is to create a simple statement that is direct and hopefully isn't miscommunicated and misunderstood by who you're speaking with. So part 2 is to suggest an alternative. It's always very awkward when you confront someone with their behavior that's offending you. That's part of the deal, though. You might piss somebody off. That happens. And I want to reiterate, this is your time to enjoy yourself. Don't spend it with someone that sucks. So, when you suggest that someone is being disrespectful or maybe bending the rules a little bit, suggest some sort of alternative. Make it a team effort on how to proceed from there. For example, hey, I really don't like the way you've been talking to me. It's been pretty disrespectful. Let's just start over, man. Let's start over from the top and just start, put that behind us and move on. Please don't talk to me like that anymore. Boom. Easy. We've now made moving on and communicating better a team effort between the two of you. Oftentimes I find that the folks that I've had to speak with don't realize what they're doing. Maybe they've got something going on in their life, an extenuating circumstance that's making them a little prickly or making them a little on edge. Playing the game is supposed to be relaxing for them too, and they might not realize what they're doing. Maybe they were raised different. Maybe they're from another place where talking shit and being loud and intense is just normal. Maybe that's just how they are. But at least you've told them how you feel. You've asserted how you would like to be treated when you're spending your valuable finite resource of time with another human being playing plastic spacemen or RPGs. So step 3, you've confronted the person with a simple direct statement. You've made some sort of suggestion on how you can move on from there. Step 3 is to move on. Just the conversation's over. Hopefully the interaction was short, to the point, and everybody knows where everybody else stands, and then you move on. You don't talk about it anymore. You don't bring up old shit, like I like to say, unless the person continues to be shitty, and in that case, it's your prerogative to continue playing, or to just let it go and say, look, I'm not having any fun, thanks, but no thanks. Don't have to be mean about it. Shake their hand and say, look, looks like this game's over. You win, whatever it is. So remember, be direct, suggest an alternative, and then move on. Create a new experience that's fun. Don't let people dictate how you spend your quality time. It's your time. Enjoy it. My favorite thing about this hobby is the awesome people involved in it, and I will speak with one of those awesome people right now, my good friend and yours, Sonic Sledgehammer. And do you go by Sonic Sledgehammer, or just can I call you Sonic?
It's the funniest thing, but yeah, Sonic works fine. It was never intended to be a handle, but people just started referring to me as Sonic, and it was like, shit, I'm stuck with that now, aren't I?
Yeah, that's like more of a fast porcupine guy or whatever he is, right?
That little fella, yeah. Me, I am the opposite. I am slow, I am soft, and you couldn't get any further. But, I'm a hedgehog on the internet. That's my shtick.
There you go. All right. 20 odd questions with Sonic Sledgehammer. Are you ready for it?
No.
Good. Then we'll begin.
All the better.
Start off with easy questions. What TV shows are you into right now?
Oh man. Right now I'm really looking forward to season 2 of Discovery. Really enjoyed that one. I've been watching a lot of animated stuff, particularly on Netflix. Hilda it's really cute. It's a good sort of autumn, or should I say fall, style show.
Whatever you want to call it, man.
Yeah, I really got to think about how I tune this for American audiences. But
Right. Well, I hope it's more than just American audiences. So tune it for everyone.
okay, I'll stick to my usual nonsense then.
Good.
But yeah, I don't get a lot of TV. Most of my viewing habits are on Netflix and whatever else completely legally arrives on my computer. So
Right. What age do you wish you could permanently be?
oh, that's hard because I haven't. You see, I haven't been any older than I am now. So maybe in 20 years' time, I might decide now is where I want to be. But based on current information, I'd have to say 25. 25 was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. What's your favorite paint color?
Mephiston red.
No reason?
Oh, I like red. It's one of those, it just goes on. You know, you're not going to mess around with it. You know what you're going to get. And red ones go faster.
That's true. So aside from paints and brushes, name one piece of hobby gear that you can't live without.
Ooh. I would say that it'd have to be my lamp. I got one of those, desk-mounted side lampy things that it has one of those, you can bend the arm and get it in where you need it. And if all the other tools I could just pick up, not a problem, then the lamp would be the one that I can't live without.
Awesome. So what is something that a ton of people are obsessed with, but you just don't get the point of it?
Oh, man. Oh, no. That's a question that could get me in so much trouble. I tell you, and I'll be honest. I'll be honest.
Do it.
The Nintendo Direct, without fail, every couple of months, everybody is yelling about what damn character is going to be in Smash, and I don't give a shit, man. I'm content to sit back and shut my mouth because people love what they love, and that's cool. And I'm not gonna ruin anyone's parade, but I cannot muster the enthusiasm to give more than a sort of noise when I just see Nintendo every. Oh, that's my thing. I do not get it.
Nice. So, how different was your life 1 year ago?
Oh, 1 year ago, I was living in a different town. I was living in a tiny wee place, 5,000 people, called Neustadt an der Waldnab. And that is off in Nether Bavaria, like Upper Palatinate. It is.
Wow.
It looks like the kind of village you see on Christmas cookie tins. You know the ones you pick them up?
Yeah.
Supplies. And you're like, damn, Grandma. But that's what it was. And I really liked it. But I was unemployed, and that sucked. And I didn't speak the language very well, and that sucked. Now I am part-time employed, and I am able to barely speak the language. So it's improvements.
That's a
the
step
last
up.
year has been good. Yeah.
So what's your favorite model that you own or that you have painted?
Oh, that's hard. You're just going for the jugular with these.
That's what I do. That's what we do here.
Okay, are we talking ever?
Ever, man. Just get fucking crazy with it. Whatever you want.
Okay, man. The best, my favorite, I should say, not the best. It was Warhammer Fantasy Battles. It was the Dwarf Lord with the Great Weapon. And he's got it, it's resting, this axe is resting on its head, and he's got his hands clasped over the bottom of the handle.
Okay.
It's just loaded with character. It was absolute staunch. It just said dwarf. He had himself, and he was not going anywhere. And that was such a cool model. I loved painting that.
Do you still have it?
I don't, unfortunately. I lost it in a move.
No.
Yeah. it sucks big time. But if I got to think of one model that stood out as like, yeah, damn, that was a lot of fun, then that Dwarf Lord.
Dude, I don't think there's any phrase worse than lost it in a move. Like, so, what are you looking forward to in the coming months?
Oh man, there's so much happening. Like everybody, everything, everywhere is just releasing great stuff lately. What am I looking forward to? I got to give a shout out to Bad Squiddo. Annie over. Is it Annie? God, I hope it's Annie.
I believe it's Annie. Yeah, yeah.
Please, yeah. Edit it if it's not. But no, Bad Squiddo's got a range of Bushido miniatures coming, and they look so cool.
Like samurai and stuff like that?
Yeah, like Eastern themed. I guess it's Sengoku Jidai period. I just really like the look. And, you know, all of the sculpts that have been coming out of Bad Squiddo have been really awesome to see. So looking forward to getting my hands on some of those as well.
So who or what inspires you?
Oh, none of these are easy. You were telling me that you were going to do this on purpose, and
I'm trying to get to the core of the Sonic Sledgehammer. Is what we're doing here.
Who or what inspires me? You know, I'm going to give you. It's going to sound like a cop out, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The community is what inspires me. The ability for so many people, like I got involved before the internet was really a thing in the hobby, and everything was pretty insular. It was all local clubs, and you would bounce that energy around, and that was all cool. But nowadays, when you can get onto Twitter, onto Facebook groups or whatever, and you got 20,000 people all into the same thing, across the whole damn world, that's awesome. Yeah. Just the ability to push around that much hobby love. And yeah, what inspires me is seeing what other people are loving, you know, because nothing can beat just that genuine high of, man, this is really cool. I'm loving this. Take a look.
Yeah. That's, you know, you see something that somebody else did and you're like, how did they even think of that? And then you want to like kind of, I want to say steal that idea, but like play off that same idea, or it makes you think about something that you could do as well. You're like, man, I never thought to use this bit a certain way, or, you know, you see like a certain colored army and go, oh, I'd like to do something like that too. So yeah, I totally get what you're saying. It's so much out there that we can digest in, like, you know, I got into this during Rogue Trader like in 89, 88 or something. Of course, there was no internet, so I just had to buy White Dwarf.
It's a bit different, eh? Like,
it's a little bit different.
I don't think people now get what a big deal it is that they can just talk to people nonstop about the hobby, eh? Like when we used to have to really search for others who were into it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So, do you have any hobby superstitions like lucky dice or lucky model, something like that?
All right, this is not a superstition. This is well-documented fact. Okay, so the dice that you've just rolled, if it rolls a 6, don't roll that dice again.
Right.
All right, because it's tainted. All right, it's good. The numbers have to pan out. The statistics have to pan out. So if you've rolled a 6, the next one's not going to be a 6 because that's unlikely. You got to pick a different dice, man. That's just fact.
Absolutely. It's funny. I just had this same conversation with Stormgrad about the same thing, about statistics. But he asked me if I had dice that I roll. They're the only ones I roll. And I was like, yeah, I only have one set of dice. So I have a superstitious about that. But the stats don't lie. We're telling you, statistics is a real thing. So
yeah.
Well, if I roll a 6, man, those dice are going away for a little bit.
Yeah, you put them to one side and you pick up some fresh ones.
Exactly.
You don't want to roll all 6s off them.
Right. So what's the dumbest thing that you've done that actually turned out pretty well?
Now, I thought that was just going to be what's the dumbest thing I've done. I have got a litany of those. The dumbest thing I've done that turned out pretty well. You know, it's funny. It's harder to answer that question because I kind of forget what the dumb thing was, and I just remember the results.
Well, that's pretty good though.
Oh yeah, it's a selective memory thing of I look back at my life and I go, yes, I was always a genius. Life was great the whole time. Makes it a little difficult to learn from my mistakes, but I'd have to say, if I think about dumb stuff, I turn up blank, man. I can't answer that one.
Okay. All right. We'll give you a pass on that one. You get one pass.
Okay, just one.
So, what stereotype do you completely live up to?
Oh man. Like, I try not to, and it is a daily battle, but I am pushes up glasses and says, "Well, actually," nerd. That is the brand of nerd I am, and I just when somebody says something or like they get a piece of lore wrong or they pronounce something like I hear Mephistion read or something like that, just there is this little autopilot, this horrid little, the shoulder devil just kicks me off the controls and, well, actually, I think you'll find. And man, I try so hard to rein it in. But that is something that is just me through and through, unfortunately.
But awareness is the first step, so that's good.
It's hard though because I know how terrible it is. I get to watch that monster happen.
Nice, no control.
No.
So, what's the last game you played, and did you win?
You had to ask if I won. Damn.
Yes.
No, the last game I played was a 1250 point game of Age of Sigmar.
Mm-hmm.
And I was bringing out my Stormcast, like my OG Stormcast, against my lovely wife. She plays Stormcast, what are they called? Sacrosanct Chamber. She got started with the Solar Wars box and has been adding, to that. And she absolutely trounced me. Like it was. She is pretty good. We play a lot of games together. We've got the space and all.
Yeah,
but
very cool.
Last game I played, it was a lot of fun. I had a great time, but I would not have wanted, spectators. It was, whoo boy.
What can you not get right no matter how many times you try?
Wet blending. That one that's an easy question for once. I've watched videos. I've read techniques. I've had a Golden Demon winner sit next to me and try and teach me. But can I figure the damn thing out? No. There's just this little switch in my brain that's very, very loudly saying to me, just dry brush it. So that's one thing that it will never sit right in my head.
I took a wet blending class at Adepticon a few years ago, and it was 2 brushes and people constantly licking their brush like to wet it. And I don't know about you, but I'm not from the lick your brush school of painting.
I'm a brush licker.
Yeah, it skews me the fuck out, man. I can't help it.
That's fair.
So everyone in the class is like licking these brushes, and I was just like, oh my god, I can't deal with this. But I didn't realize. Yeah, I mean,
damn thing.
Yeah, well, you get it wet, yeah, but I didn't realize that there was like such a, prevalence of people licking their brushes as how they wet their, how they wet their brush.
See, I don't get that. I wet my brush and I wet my paint with water. I only ever lick my brush to bring it back to a point, not when it's got paint on the damn thing. Ugh.
Yeah, it's like you put the paint on and then you lick the brush to get it wet, and then you sort of draw the paint out for that blend or whatever. And then people were just paint brush right back in the mouth. I'm like, whoa.
Okay, maybe I'm right about dry brushing.
I don't know. This is how they were teaching it. Like, wet your brush and, give it a little lick. And I'm like, whoa, stand by. What? We're licking our brushes? I know my buddy Raleigh Fox would say brush licking's not a crime. He's got the hashtag and the stickers, but oh my God. Do you play RPGs? And if so, tell me about your character.
Now do we mean like PC or tabletop, or because the short answer is yes, but like any more specific questions or
I would say if you play a tabletop RPG, but if you want to talk about your World of Warcraft character, you can do that too.
okay. Yeah, no, I've never got to World of Warcraft. I tried, but I bounced off of it.
Yeah.
As far as tabletop stuff, though, I was running a Star Trek game off of the old Decipher system. Now, this does go back about a year now, unfortunately. The vagaries of real life has meant that it's hard to get us all in one place.
Yeah, that's the toughest part of RPGs.
Yeah, but my favorite character was one of the GM NPCs, and it was Mr. Vorik. And he was the Vulcan science officer, because of course. And it's a lot of fun to be someone that isn't like you.
Absolutely.
Because I was always I was a drama club kid. I'm sure you can imagine. So,
no.
Of course, like, we're all that same brand of nerd, surely. But I always love, especially GMing or DMing, however you put it. A game just gives you more opportunity to really muck around and do the voices and do the monologuing and the evil cackles and all that. But Vorik was probably my favorite. He was just that really staid, competent. I think he saved the players on more than one occasion. So, because I'm a soft GM, I've never killed a player character.
Oh. So you're more of a GM than a player, typically?
Typically. It tends to be because I'm the one that has the ludicrous library. So
got you. You got the books. You're in charge.
I got the books. And you read the books and you go, God, wouldn't it be easy to run? And then next minute, it's 8 months into a campaign and you're thinking, just how the hell did this happen?
So do you do voices in the whole thing when you GM?
Oh, you've got to, man. It's half the fun.
See, that's the thing. I always do voices too, even when I'm playing. Like I try to affect like some sort of weird vocal habit that like kind of informs my character. So whenever I'm speaking, people know it. And the few times I played with a group that didn't really know me, like one shots and things at conventions, like it just throws people the fuck off because they're like, "Whoa, what's this guy doing?" And then when I GM,
weird.
Yeah, so the last one I played is I love the Star Wars RPG from Fantasy Flight. That's like my shit.
Yes.
And I played a one shot at Adepticon last year, the year before, and I chose a transition. The like Bosk and all them.
Yep.
Yeah, so they were all playing it straight and kind of like they were doing my character says this, my character says that, instead of just saying what it was that the character would say to the GM as the NPC. But I was doing a voice. And you ever listen to old Adam Sandler? Let me see how old you are. You ever listen to old Adam Sandler, the GOAT?
Oh, damn. No, the GOAT. I see. As far back as I remember was like, before Waterboy. What the hell was that one? Happy Gilmore is like the earliest Adam Sandler.
It's a similar thing. So he's got a CD where he has a skit called The GOAT. And the GOAT talks kind of like this. And he's like, what the fuck, man? What are we doing with, the farmer? He beat the shit out of me. So I'm doing that voice as the transition bounty hunter. And like, they're just like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? And like we get hit, the ship gets hit by like a missile or something. I'm like, holy fuck, man, there's a hole as big as my cloaca in the side of the ship. And I'm like, I'm cracking myself up like the whole time. And then like halfway through, these guys started to like kind of get the gist that I'm just being dumb because it's fun. And so they started having more fun. And then at the end of it, like it was really good, but like they totally didn't know what to do with it at first. They're like, what is happening?
The initial culture shock of, is this guy a lizard for real?
Right. And I found that whenever I'm GMing and whenever I do voices, sometimes that has a tendency to like, I don't know, what's the word, I guess, embarrass your players, or your players feel kind of awkward about it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, a little. It happens.
Like where they're like, oh, what is he doing? But the group I play with now, like they get it and they get what I'm doing. But I've had newbies come in and they're like, oh, okay, wow, I didn't expect this.
Yeah, it's a little daunting, that am I expected to do the same? And
Right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But no, you'd have somebody else at your table, on the off chance ever we cross paths, I'd be more than into it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Next question.
Okay.
What stat for your life would you most like to see? If you could see the stats of anything that you've done or anything that you've spent time on, etc., so on and so forth, what stat are you interested in looking up?
There's a few that spring to mind that I'm not going to say.
Bring it.
No, I'm a gentle soul. I'm even pure.
Sure.
If I had to, I want to know how many Space Marines I have painted in my years. Like,
oh God,
I shudder to think, because
that might be a depressing stat.
it would be simultaneously amazing and massively depressing. So I'd want to know. Just give me that knowledge, and we can determine whether or not I've got any hope left in me.
What's your guess?
Oh shit, man! I tell you, when I was working at the workshop, one of our accomplishments in our store was we painted 106. We painted a full battle company of Imperial fists in a week.
Oh my God!
So when I think about, gosh, I must have painted a lot of Space Marines. Man, that is not even. A lot is not a word. It doesn't factor in. I have painted stupid Marines. So, yeah, I'd want to know, and then I'd promptly just drink to forget, because it would hurt more.
When do you feel that you leveled up in your life?
Leveled up, huh? Like as an adult, or hobby sort of side of things?
Anything. What's the last, the level you are now? If we were, let's talk RPG as life. You're at a pretty high level now, I would guess. What's the last thing you did that put you over the edge, that leveled you up?
Okay. I'd have to say, this is maybe 3 or 4 years ago now, but going through the process and buying my own house, like,
Ooh.
I don't live there anymore, unfortunately. We've since moved to Germany, which is, that's a mission and a half in itself. But becoming a homeowner, I really didn't expect what a big difference that would make to, just how I felt about going to work, how excited I was to like do chores and shit around the house. Like,
yeah. It's yours.
Like this is mine. It's not keeping someone else's investment safe and tidy. It's, no, man, this is my castle, and I'm gonna do right by it. And that's, I guess it sounds kind of unusual to especially maybe some of the younger guys, but no, man, I think that was a turning point in I'm a goddamn adult.
Right. I mean, I totally agree with you. Buying my house was awesome. Definitely worthy of leveling up.
Right. You can put holes in any wall you want.
You can paint it any color you want.
Havoc pink, for example.
There you go. Havoc pink. Yes. My goal is to mention Havoc pink in every podcast. So I'm on a roll so far. Who or what is your spirit animal?
Oh, I like to spring these ones, eh? Like there's a nice conversation. I take a breath, and then out comes the really weird.
Go for it. Go. Spirit animal. Go.
So yeah, spirit animal. Any Star Trek fans, any fans of DS9 will know. DS9. Spirit animal has to be the well-intentioned, but ultimately a little on the slow side, but well-meaning and generally well-liked for some bizarre reason. Rom he's me through and through, and it's embarrassing because you could say someone called, yeah, I'm totally just like Garrick, or yes, I'm Odo, and no, I'm Rom. I'm not even Quark, man.
But Rom ends up with Lita, and she's hot.
Yeah,
so you're good.
I mean, Grand Nagus, that's something. But I am a few years off. I'm like season 3 Rom, still going.
Okay. Brother.
When can I inherit the bar?
That's excellent, Rom. All right, you got 2 questions left.
Okay.
If you were a superhero, what is your power?
Do I only have one?
One main power. Yep.
Okay.
Don't get greedy.
Oh no! See, this is the thing. If I was a superhero and I had a super power, like considered far in excess of other humans, it would have to be, I want to be super intelligent, because then I can solve problems, I can fix things, I can put into play everything I need to make myself Tony Stark.
Very cool. And then eventually build a suit.
And then you build a suit, and then you've got all these other cool things you can do. And what's your superpower, man? What's your secret? I'm a genius.
I'm just real fucking smart.
I'm just real smart. What are you going to do?
Last question.
All right, no pressure.
Do you have anything to promote? Do it now.
No. I tend to figure people who are listening to this might have already come across. God, that's an ego. Who the hell is? Wow, you've already heard of me. No,
everyone already knows me. Nothing to promote.
Yeah. It just dawned on me what an absolute shit I was being. So let me rephrase. If you wanna do some real basic painting, like how I paint things on YouTube, is the channel that I run, and I do really simple techniques to get your models on the table. They're not going to win Golden Demon, as I'm always fond of saying, but as far as taking a brush, putting some paint on a miniature, and it looks pretty cool when you're done, that's the kind of techniques I'm trying to promote over time. Really get just finished for its own sake and enjoying painting.
So they can search Sonic Sledgehammer on YouTube and find you?
Sonic Sledgehammer is probably the easiest way to do it. If you look for how I paint things, you might find it too. I really wish I had come up with a better name. Like, it is the dumbest thing, because I never expected it to take off. So the beginnings and the stupid, the things that made me happy when I got started just stuck, and they became the branding. So that's
awesome.
Well, depending on how good you think the name is, sure.
Well, how you paint things. You can't mistake that for anything else.
Well, it's truth in advertising. If somebody turns to me and says, "Oh, wouldn't you do it differently?" Or, "Well, that's not how you paint ultramarines," I can just point to the top of the channel, how I paint things.
And this is how I paint things. Emphasis on
how you paint things is your own business. Ne'er the twain may meet.
Sonic Sledgehammer, thank you for being on my podcast. We had a lot of fun, and I'll find you on Twitter as well. Yes.
Yes, at Sonic Sledge.
Just Sonic Sledge, no hammer.
No hammer. Unfortunately, I couldn't fit the hammer, and there's all manner of comments to be made about that. But Twitter character limit was tragically the only reason.
How I paint things, Sonic Sledge. Got it. Awesome, man. Thanks for hanging out and chit-chatting with me. And I'll see you around.
Yep. Take care of yourself, dude.
Yeah, dude. Bye. I love RPGs. I started playing RPGs back when I was about 12 or 13 years old. With the Palladium system, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Other Strangeness. Very classic, old school. Then I moved on to Heroes Unlimited, Ninjas and Super Spies, and then Rifts, which was a fantastic setting. And the Palladium system, still awesome to this very day. I'm more of a futuristic role-playing game guy. I've played Dungeons & Dragons once or twice, but for some reason the fantasy setting just doesn't really get my attention. So let's combine the things I like, futuristic settings and Star Wars. And you have the amazing Edge of the Empire, Age of Rebellion system from Fantasy Flight. The best thing about the Fantasy Flight system is it's not a binary pass or fail. They have a cool dice system that allows you to fail and also have some sort of positive outcome or succeed and have a negative outcome and everywhere in between. So it's a very narrative system, more narrative than it is crunchy, and that's what I really like about it because I like to tell the story. And it really makes you want to have your players involved with telling the story. Everyone gets a say, and it's just a more fun experience altogether. I've been lucky enough to have a regular group in the last couple of months, made up of close friends, and my wife, who I first conned into playing by trying out the Starfinder system of RPG, which is the futuristic setting for the Pathfinder fantasy game, which is also very good, but a little more crunchy than we were looking for, especially for a newer player such as herself. She stuck with it for a bit, then the group we were playing with sort of gave up on that, and that's fine. That happens. Common story in RPG. So we moved on to the Fantasy Flight Edge of the Empire system, which, because she's been inundated with Star Wars imagery and stories since she's been married to me for the last 11 years, she knew quite a bit about the background, so it made it a lot easier to jump in. With that, I had started a group with the rest of the Havocs from back in the day, and that never really panned out because RPGs, as you know, it's tough to get everyone together at the same time. Met a couple of folks that were interested, and my buddy Brandon and his wife Shar came by, my buddy CJ, and now my friend Matt, and that's our regular group for Edge of the Empire. Very cool game. Our group follows the adventures of the crew of the Rocinante, a small cargo ship with the name shamelessly stolen from The Expanse, which I hear is a fantastic series. I have not watched it yet, but I'm going to get onto it. The pilot, a runaway Twi'lek who comes from a very rich family, and she discovers that her father is selling the lowercase Twi'leks into slavery for his own personal gain. So she is very interested in the rights of slaves, and especially Twi'leks, and she tries to free them any chance she gets. Her co-pilot and good friend, Puck, the Mon Calamari saboteur who works directly for the rebellion, who likes to blow things up any chance he can get. And then there's Nala, the Bothan spy, who was once an agent of the Empire and was double-crossed by her partner and lover, captured by the rebellion, and then in her quest for vengeance, aids the rebellion in the hopes of getting back at her former partner. And then there's Steve Solo Fett, middle-aged, maybe slightly overweight, balding man who one day decided he wanted to be a bounty hunter as famous as Boba Fett. So he gets on space eBay and buys a jetpack, puts it on, and jetpacks toward destiny. The jetpack doesn't always work, but Steve Fett, who's thirsty for fame, likes to take risks and does outrageous stuff in the hopes of becoming famous. Rounding out the crew is KN8, an Imperial droid whose specialty is medicine and sometimes unwanted plastic surgery on his opponents. I've been lucky enough to play with this group for about the past 5-6 months, and we've had a couple of adventures. The beginning adventure out of the book, Age of Rebellion, wherein Puck and the Twi'lek pilot Gobo hijack an Imperial cargo ship and then blow it up, which was pretty awesome. The next adventure found them intervening with a Bith musician who accidentally comes into possession of rebel intelligence. They break him out of jail, outsmart the local Imperial security, and have a run-in with a bounty hunter who's hot on his tail. The next session was more of a horror-based situation where the crew boards what appears to be an abandoned Imperial prison ship. And they get aboard, and they're greeted by the sound of a small child crackling over the intercom, asking for help. Soon they realize the prisoners are still there, but they've been driven mad by some sort of virus. And it turns out that nanodroids have gotten into the air and have caused the prisoners to go insane and try to kill anything and everyone on the ship. The crew fights their way to the bridge of the ship to make an escape and realizes that the voice of a child belongs to a Twi'lek driven mad by the virus nanodroids floating in the air. The session after that, we played The Hangover, which has turned out to be probably the most popular session that we've done so far, and it's exactly like it sounds. The crew wakes up in their ship with no memory of what happened the night before except for small clues all around them. They realize that they're on a casino city on a desert planet. The local crime syndicates are after them. Something about a missing cat and an arms deal that's going down, led by one mysterious Bothan. Eventually, the crew put all the clues together, discovered that the Bothan was none other than Nulla's former partner that had betrayed her to the rebellion, and vengeance was achieved, or was it? Which brings us to Saturday night's session, wherein the crew, hired once again by the rebellion, is tasked with a simple job: to take a rebel negotiator to speak with Zarin Corporation, sees they have uncovered something very valuable to the rebellion during their mining efforts. And to gain access to them, they send their best and brightest Vero Pavand, rebel negotiator, and all-around smooth talker. But soon they discover that the Zarin Corporation is embattled by its former employees who have formed a militia. Seems they're not too happy about being fired and replaced with droids. Amidst all this, Vero Pavand tends to be very vague and not really forthcoming with information concerning what is on the planet's surface below that Zarin Corp might have uncovered. During a large battle wherein the workers' militia is trying to take over the mining ship Leviathan, a mysterious and dark warrior appears, wielding some sort of double-bladed energy sword glowing with red light. The crew, of course, is stunned by this, and everyone's looking at each other like, oh shit, we're not going to survive. But from behind them, a familiar sound, the snap hiss of another power sword, saber made of light, if you will, igniting behind them. The corridor glowing with green light, they look back to see that it is none other than Vero Pavand, the rebel negotiator, who also happens to be a Jedi, merely a Padawan when Order 66 had occurred, working in secret. He tells them to make their way to the planet's surface, giving them maps and detailed information on where to find the valuable resources that the mining company has uncovered. He clashes with the Dark Warrior as they make their way from the mining ship onto the planet's surface. Some awesome ship piloting rolls later, they land very close to what appears to be a sunken temple. A few more amazing rolls as they try to get past lakes of lava and other inconveniences. They make their way inside and find a cube glowing with blue light suspended in the air. They realize that this is some sort of Jedi artifact, which is very important. And it's then that the Dark Warrior appears, smashing through the wall with his red laser sword, double-bladed, spinning around wildly, hacking away at the crew as they scramble. Puck, the Mon Calamari saboteur, takes the floating cube from its resting place and hangs it over a lake of molten lava, threatening the Dark Warrior that he'll drop it unless he lets them go. The Dark Warrior simply raises his hand, and the cube flies through the air towards him. And just then, Steve, Solo Fett, ignites his jetpack, intercepts the cube as it flies through the air, becoming the target of the Dark Warrior's anger. I gotta tell you, Steve Fett was making some amazing rolls and managed to evade most of this Dark Warrior's attacks. But soon, he knocks Steve Fett to the ground. He grabs Puck and places the blade to his neck, demanding that he hand over the cube. Steve Fett tosses it through the air. Puck captures it. Steve Fett then again ignites his jetpack and is knocked to the ground once more. The Dark Warrior throws Puck aside, lifts his lightsaber up to deliver the killing blow, but just then is intercepted by the green lightsaber of Vero Pavand at the last minute, coming in to save them. And as they battle, Nulla decides to make her attack, using her stealth skills, sneaking up on the Dark Warrior and stabbing him squarely in the back with an amazing roll that causes critical damage to him. At the same time, Steve Fett regains his footing and starts blasting away at the Dark Warrior, just enough for Vero Pavand to deliver the killing blow. Saber through the chest, finishing off the warrior. He drops to his knees and slumps down onto the stone floor, lifeless. And really the plan was for this Sith Inquisitor to really fuck some people up, but they were just rolling so well, and I was rolling really badly, and even using dark side points to sort of move him along and make him more threatening. They still managed to evade most of his attacks and landed plenty of criticals on him, making him incredibly weak, incredibly fast. But you know what? He was just an Inquisitor, just a low-level, maybe Dark Jedi bad guy. They did really well. So the story there ended. They took the Jedi holocron back to the Rebellion. They are honored in a large ceremony because the Rebellion loves giving large ceremonies and medals to people. And they are standing by for more missions to aid the Rebellion against the Galactic Empire. I do hope you enjoyed today's podcast, and I hope I've given you some tips on how to deal with someone that's a difficult opponent or anyone that's just being difficult with you in life. Feel free to use these tips. Also, I enjoyed having my conversation with Sonic Sledgehammer, an awesome gentleman and a very funny guy that does an amazing ROM impression. And thanks for listening to me babble on about my Star Wars Edge of the Empire campaign with some of my close friends. Thank you, and good night.